does have just 3 goals in 17 games this season, but as you can see, he's in a select group of players who have scored 10 or more goals in each of the last 4 Premier League seasons. Salah, Vardy, Kane, very good company for Chris Wood. If he's going to get to that mark again this season, it could save Newcastle from going down. A lot going on in the league. With that, we say hello. Glad you're with us here today. Ahmed Fareed, Robbie, Earle, Danny Higginbotham. And let's start right there, guys, at the bottom of the table. This is getting very interesting. Chris Wood going to Newcastle. How much of a boost is this to Newcastle, and how much does this hurt Burnley?
This has to be seen as a double Wood whammy. The first whammy is Newcastle getting the man, getting a focal point to the attack. With Callum Wilson out for a period of time, they needed somebody who can lead the line. From Burnley's point of view, disarms them, takes away their main goal-scoring threat, the man who's led them to goals that's kept them in the league. So it has 2 effects. And it's really interesting because when the Saudi group took over and they were talking about this January window and what kind of players they're looking for, and people were sort of Mbappe and Haaland and Aubameyang or Martial. I'm not sure Chris Wood was quite ever on that list, but he could be really important. And Eddie Howe stressed a couple of things. 1, they need somebody in that attack to lead the line. 2, they wanted an experienced operator who knows the league. They've got that in Wood. His record's good, double figures in the last 4 seasons. And more importantly, talked about a character in the dressing room who knows how to fight in a relegation battle, because that's important for Newcastle where they are right now. They don't want somebody who's coming there just for a good time. You've got to get your hands dirty. You've got to get some goals and get this team out of trouble.
Can you go out there and say, Danny, that this one move could possibly save Newcastle?
It's going to have a huge impact. In particular, with Burnley, they've lost their star man. You know, you look at Sean Dyche. Before Chris Wood, it was Sam Vokes. He always plays with a physical presence up front. Yes, he's only got 3 goals this season, but he's so important to the way that Burnley play. And I'd go as far to say that if Chris Wood wasn't at Burnley, Newcastle would not be signing him. Because I think it's a strategic plan from Newcastle, and fair play to them the way that they've gone about it. When you talk about goals with Chris Wood, I think he brings more than that. You look at Newcastle, one of the worst defensive records in the league. Set pieces, the 4th worst in the Premier League. He will enable them to be better defensively because now there's a focal point. They don't have to try and play out from the back. They can go over the press. Set pieces-wise, we know he's going to be one of the best. So it can work in both ways. And then I think in the meantime, what they'll do, look at Chris Wood, that focal point, teams can play off him. But for Burnley, huge problems. I go as far to say that I always said Burnley wouldn't get relegated. This probably makes me change my mind a bit.
And there's also, I just think as well, a little silver lining with Chris Wood for Newcastle. And it's not one Eddie Howe will want. It's not one Newcastle fans will want to talk about. But if this club were to go down, Chris Wood is a kind of striker who, 1, would want to stay with the football club, 2, knows that championship and would score goals and get you out of trouble. So all round, I think it's great business for Newcastle. Not so great for Burnley.
I think as well, and go back to what Robbie was saying, when you look at the transfer window, this isn't a transfer window where you're looking and thinking, oh, they're going to spend all these millions. This is to get over the line. This is to make sure that they're in the Premier League next year, and then they'll readdress it.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host for NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch highlights all season long, and be sure to tune in for Premier League mornings every weekend at 7 a.m. Eastern. And for even more content, head over to Peacock, where we've got live games, original series and a dedicated round-the-clock Premier League channel featuring studio shows, classic matches and much more.